Welcome to The Activist Show. I, of course, am Dakota the Activist. Now, I just wanted to say, excuse our budget for this show. I mean, our show is ran with the budget of a bubblegum paper wrapper. I mean, we use boxes as a table. So excuse our budget. I just like to say, today we are going to be talking about the China internet freedom and how China is using, and how our civil rights movements are similar to China's civil rights movement of the internet freedoms. So, our story begins 30 years ago in the Beijing Square. There was a large protest in the Beijing Square. It happened that many students gathered together to protest the politics of China. Since they are a communist country, this was it was a symbol of a pro-democracy protest. The military of that time, the government of that time, did not like this protest and decided that they should squash the protest. So the military went after the protesters, which was led by students, I may add. The military went after those protesters and students, and that day you lost 10,000 people. 10,000 people were killed by the military, the Chinese military. This became the most censored subject in China. By that time, internet was going on, and they wanted to erase that moment from Chinese history and make sure that people didn't know about the government's actions. Pages such as Wikipedia, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and some Google services were blocked. The Chinese government, as I said, wanted to erase the moment from Chinese history. Now with the president, Xi Jinping, sorry if I mispronounced that, he has controlled China since 2012 and has had a major crackdown on online freedom. He added major internet propaganda to your internet browsers and where your internet pages. He punishes journalists when they post quote-unquote wrong content. That content is not wrong in any standard. It's just what the government, maybe the person speaking their own mind, and the Chinese government don't. Since it's communist, it can't control its people, so it just doesn't want that out. It has blocked hundreds of thousands of articles, and 26,000 Google searches have been banned, which means you can't search for certain protests, or anything that the Chinese government says is off limits is gone, erased. This is called the Chinese Great Firewall. And then let's go to November 2018. The internet freedom has been blocked for the 8th time. Some activists have come together to ask the government to allow freedom of the internet, the one freedom that they should have, and it has been blocked, as I said, for the 8th consecutive time. China is now exporting the Great Firewall and allowing other countries to use its market or its servers. Activists such as, she likes to remain anonymous, so she just went as May, is fighting for the Chinese internet freedom. She went to Hong Kong and found out certain people were allowed to see Facebook, and she never had seen Facebook because it is blocked where she used to live. And when she finally went to the States, she found out that you could go on to whatever you wanted to go on and watch what you wanted to watch, see what you wanted to see, search for what you wanted to search. This opened up her eyes, and she's now getting her bachelor's degree to fight against the Chinese government and allow freedom to the people of China for the internet. A lot of people in China do not know about the Great Firewall, but if some the little that do know about it don't see it as a problem, because it's their government. They say that their government, whatever the government is doing, is usually good. That's the way they see it, so there's no problem. Activists have been spreading awareness. What have they? Not a lot of activists in China at that time haven't been able to do the same thing as our civil rights movement in the States. Any women's rights movements, Hispanic American rights movement, or Native American movements, we were able to march for the things we wanted, and sit-ins, we did all types of things to get what we saw just. Many of those activists have not been able to do that just because China, if you start talking about stuff that they don't agree with, the government doesn't agree with, then you'll just disappear tomorrow and be just no one. So the most the activists have been able to do is spread awareness, show people what is actually happening, and show people what the US has done or other countries have done to allow freedom of online services. And I do not believe the activists are fighting for what they believe is right, but I do not believe they will be successful just because they are not able to spread awareness to a lot of people. They don't have the same effect. They can't go out and march and protest against the government. They would need almost everyone in that country to revolt against the government or to stop what's going on. But of course, the petition to allow online services of freedom, it's been blocked for eight consecutive years, 8 consecutive times, and more likely it's going to be blocked for its 9th consecutive time this year. But they're not able to march because, as I said in the very beginning, any type of marching just gets, all those people just are murdered by the Chinese government, and they're just not allowed to do the same things as we were able to do: march for our rights, sit-ins, and all the other things that we did in order to get what we believe was right. So no, I do not believe they will be able to succeed in their objective, but you never know, they might just succeed. So we all are thinking about these Chinese activists and hope they are able to make a change. This is Dakota the Activist signing off, and this is The Activist Show.